Hi, welcome to this special edition episode of Look Ma No Hands. This is the long-awaited Sudoku puzzle video that I've promised for many weeks, so here we go. The inspiration for this project is the number puzzle known as Sudoku. I love solving Sudoku puzzles and thought it would make an interesting design in a crochet blanket. So my crazy self just went wild with this one. I'll start with a brief history of Sudoku. The invention of what we think of as Sudoku is attributed to Howard Garnes. Garnes was a 74-year-old retired architect and freelance puzzle constructor for Dell Publishing. He first published his logic puzzle in 1979, calling it Number Place. Now you might be wondering how the name Sudoku came to be. In 1984, Maki Kaji published the puzzle in a Japanese paper called Monthly Nicolist. He named it after an award-winning horse in the Irish 2000 Guineas horse races. The puzzle was published under the name Suji wa Dokushin ni Kagurui. I think that's how you pronounce it, which translates to the digits must be single. The original name was deemed by Kaji's co-workers to be too long, and so it was abbreviated to Sudoku. It took over a decade for Sudoku to become a global sensation, but in the early 2000s, Sudoku exploded on the international puzzle scene with game devices, programs, and competitions popping up everywhere. Sudoku is a puzzle constructed from 9 3x3 grids organized into one large 9x9 grid. Each 3x3 grid is filled with the numbers 1 through 9, with no number repeating in the grid, and each row and column containing the numbers 1 through 9, with no numbers repeating in any of the columns or the rows. For this crochet blanket project, I have selected 9 colors to represent the numbers and will assemble the squares in a grid format to represent the Sudoku puzzle I have solved. Tim helped me by checking my puzzle with the solutions key and coloring in my solved puzzle. Some of the colors I use are discontinued, but I will list them. The main color is black. Color number 1 is pumpkin, 2 hot pink, 3 slime, 4 purple, 5 cruise blue, 6 bright yellow, 7 cherry red, 8 varsity blue, 9 amethyst. I used a 5mm hook, and the pattern that I used for the squares is the double crochet square found on page 30 of A Modern Guide to Granny Squares by Celine Saman. So that's all the details for the blanket. I didn't really have a pattern to go off of other than the pattern for the squares themselves. When it came to the construction of the blanket, I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I decided to use a slip stitch to join the squares, and what I did was joined the squares in 3x3 sections, which left me with tons of ends to weave in, but it made it more manageable than trying to connect the rows, 9 squares, well, 2 rows of 9 squares at a time. I felt like that was a little bit daunting. It made it much easier to do it by using the 3x3 sections and then stitching those smaller sections together. Yeah, it was just way more manageable that way. Otherwise, I don't know how long it would have taken me to stitch them row by row, and I don't know, it was a lot easier to do the small sections and then stitch those together, even though it meant for what felt like a bazillion ends. It wasn't too daunting to weave in all of those ends. When it came to each individual square, I was weaving in the ends of the squares as I finished them so that I wouldn't have to weave in 81 times 2 ends for each square. Yeah, and that's pretty much the blanket in a nutshell, and I really enjoyed putting it all together in that way, and doing a little bit of research about Sudoku puzzles. I really enjoy solving Sudoku puzzles, and I was shocked to find out that it was originally an American phenomenon, and then kind of took off in Japan in the 80s and became the sensation that it is in our modern times. So yeah, that was, I probably hyped it up way more than what you're seeing here, but I had fun doing the research, so I hope you enjoy learning a little bit about the puzzle. I'm going to include the links for where I got all the information for my little bit of research that I did, and maybe at some point I'll be doing some more puzzle and crochet mashups. I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed this one, so hopefully I didn't disappoint with hyping it for weeks and weeks. Thanks for watching.